In this video, we're talking about the best compensation plans in solar available right now. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to another solar video on the channel. My name is Ivan and I help people start and grow profitable sales orgs selling solar over the phone and being location independent. Now in this video, I wanted to focus on people that are just starting out, right? So if you're just starting out right now, looking at you, right? I'm looking at you. If you're just starting out, you don't know what to do, right? You're confused. You're like, okay, I know I can make a lot of money in solar, but I don't know what to do, whether to go with a company, whether to open up my own LLC and do it that way. Like, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know. I hope I don't leave anything out. If you still have any questions, you can leave them down in the comment section. I would love to make videos based on the topics that you want me to talk about. Sometimes I run out of ideas. Now, the best compensation plans in solar, what does that mean? What is it gonna get you paid the most? And depending on what your situation is. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, there's three things you can be in solar. You can be a W-2 employee, you can be a 1099, right? Like a rep that you work for a company, right? A W-2, obviously you're an employee for the company. And then you're a 1099, which is you're commission based pretty much, right? And then you also have the independent contractor, right? And then an LLC. An independent contractor and LLC, doesn't matter, same thing. What you need to remember is when you're starting out in solar, you're gonna need a lot of knowledge, right? You don't know where to start. You don't know how to sell the systems. Even if you have experience in sales, you don't know what works, what doesn't work. And so you wanna have the shortest cut possible to get you to comfortably, start making money, selling, get you paid, right? So I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of all of those things separately, okay? If you're a W-2 employee, obviously that's gonna get you paid the least amount because you're probably not gonna get as much commission. You're mostly gonna be salary based plus very, very little commission. Obviously, the reason why companies do that is because you have the most security within the company, and so you don't really have to, you have to meet your certain quota. Obviously, you have to hit it in order to remain an employee for that company, but it's somewhat secure. So if you manage to meet the quota and you don't have a problem hitting those numbers they want you to hit, then you're gonna get paid, but it's not gonna be anything spectacular, right? And obviously the reason why you're in solar is because you want to make a lot of money. We're in the golden age of solar. The second thing outside of that is being a 1099 but still working for that company. They can provide you with leads, or the other option is you can also do self-gen. And self-gen, a lot of people call them sugar leads or whatever, is you generating your own appointments, your own leads and appointments, which obviously you would either spend money or you spend sweat equity going out there door knocking if you're doing that, right? Or you're cold calling. But it doesn't matter what it is, self-gens will always get you paid more than what the company provides you with, right? It's just it's common sense. Obviously the company spends money, for them to get you leads or appointments. So they're spending money, and so they need to recuperate some of that money. And so they're not gonna pay you as much as if the deal was literally like self-generated. Okay. When you get into solar, like I said, you're confused and you want to get to sort of like the shortest cut. I don't know, but if you're anything like me, like you want to progress and get to write what you need to be riding the wave in the shortest amount of time. The third thing, which is being an independent contractor or having your own LLC, is you can be working with that installer, you can be working with that dealer company that you're a part of, right? But you're gonna get paid in a very, very different way because you can actually negotiate your red line. You don't have the ability to negotiate your red line if they give you like a standard red line and they try to beat around the bush as far as like why they can't go below a certain point. Like, you need to leave that company. Everything is negotiable, okay? Remember that. Everything is negotiable. There's nothing that is non-negotiable. So usually what I tell people in my training, by the way, there's a free training covering all of this down in the description. So if you're brand new, it doesn't matter what stage of the process you're in, you're gonna find a lot of value in it. Make sure you find a link in the description, okay? And also let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I would love to answer those questions in a video format and be able to help you guys. So the last thing is what I teach in my training, which is to have your own LLC, because most installers won't work with you unless you have a limited liability company. You need to file your own LLC. It's pretty easy to do. If you've never done that, you could do it in under a day, okay? In a couple of hours, and you're done, right? So once you're set up with an installer, you need to make sure that you have first of all, multiple options. So you have different installers. If one installer cannot service that utility company, you can go to someone else immediately. But again, not to go too sideways, let's focus on the compensation plan. So when you're doing this, the most important thing that you need to remember is that you can negotiate your red line, and your red line is pretty much your baseline for what you're paying of the system cost. The cost of the panels and the cost of installation and all the adders and stuff like that. If something else needs to be done in order to get the solar system installed, that can also be an adder. The installer is gonna charge you on top of your red line. But the premise of having your own LLC and being able to set it up that way is that you can negotiate, you can lower that red line to be as little as possible, right? While ensuring you still get the same amount of service out of your installer as you would if you were a W-2, if you were a 1099 independent contractor, it doesn't matter, right? You would get the same level of service, but for much, much cheaper. That's the whole goal. And basically, when you're brand new, unfortunately, a lot of people will try to lure you into their biggest opportunity and then come over here and we're gonna teach you how to knock doors, and then we're gonna show you the path, and then you're gonna sell for us until 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half, passes by and you're like, oh, okay, I think there's a better way I can do this, right? So I'm telling you this now. If you're thinking about getting into solar, or you're literally brand new to solar and you don't understand what I'm talking about, this is crucial. Like, you do not need to go with another company unless you're like, you don't have the money, because usually if you have an LLC, right, you need to front some of the money for ads, marketing, generating your own lead flow and appointments and stuff like that, right? You can still go out there and door knock if that's what you want to do, right? It's way better to get a mentor and to buy like a training program out there, even if it's not something that we can offer, because we don't do door knocking. But there's like very, very good coaches out there that can show you how to door knock without you having to spend the most valuable commodity, which is your time, working for someone teaching you how to do this. You can literally spend like $500 to $1,000 maybe a little bit more, but then you can learn how to do that, even if you have like very little to no money at all. But if you do have some capital, or if you're able to use your credit cards, I would highly recommend to do that instead, because that's gonna get you paid the fastest and you're gonna get paid much more. And I'm saying that because you can do that almost on a daily basis. You could sell a deal and make $8,000 to $10,000, even $12,000 a deal, sometimes even more, right? Depending on the deal size. But I'm here to tell you that all you need to do is just focus on, first of all, getting the knowledge and not listening to those people that are trying to lure you in, to sell for them, okay? Now, there's advantages with some companies, but they try to create a cult around this thing. It's so freaking great. If you join the company, all of a sudden start making a lot of money. It's probably true. You will start getting some money if you're a bartender previously and they teach you how to sell. Of course, you're gonna make more money. But I'm just telling you what's the best way to allocate your time and resources at the very beginning so you can get to making the most money possible in solar. Because I do believe that opportunity that we have right now, it's gonna last probably, anywhere between 4 to 5, even 6 years, and then it's gonna slowly start to decrease. And so that's why we call it a golden age of solar. Solar right now is where Bitcoin was, in 2017. Nobody was willing to invest in 2017, and those that obviously were made a lot of money. And so the same thing is with solar. But a lot of people, unfortunately, are gonna find out about the opportunity in solar when it's already too late. So what I'm saying is you need to be in it right now. You need to be in the game, in the trenches. So those are all the compensation plans that are available in solar right now. Like I said, there's pros and cons to every single little thing, and it really depends on your situation. But even if I was broke and I was starting out from scratch, I would not join a company. I'll probably, borrow money and get going, because that's the fastest way for me to get to making a lot of money as fast as possible. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you're not a subscriber, I'd appreciate it if you give me a sub. And if the conversation ever comes up, please share it with a friend and tell them where you're getting the goodies, and share the channel. All right? So I appreciate you for watching all the way through, if you're still watching. And please let me know in the comment section below. Don't be shy, like what topics you want me to cover, and I'll make videos about them, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.